Hi, Hi, Veronika. How you doing? It's good to have you back on the podcast again.
Hey Adam, how are you?
Yeah, very well,
Thank
thank you.
you. Glad to be back on again.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you back on. And I think the first time we had a chat. We touched on some really deep topics, and we just kind of like went with the flow, really. I think that's something that we kind of do well.
I know we kind of like touched everything a little bit, and I was like jumping from topic to topic because like everything that you mention, opens like another whole field of like deeper discussion. So yeah, it
Hmm.
was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, it's
So go ahead.
no, yeah, it does. I mean, it's kind of pinballs conversation, doesn't it? You press on one topic, that opens up another narrative, and just kind of go free flows from there. But yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think we have good chats, and I think that you mentioned that we want to talk about like self discipline and like discipline.
Yeah, let's focus on self-discipline today. What do you think?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, so when you say self discipline, the importance of it, would you say, like why it's important?
Yes, yes. For me, the self-discipline is like the ability to be able to check on yourself, to really stop midway of whatever you are doing mindlessly, and to
Mm,
become really grounded and focused again.
yeah,
It's really like, um, and I am reading these fantastic books which I just recently got from my friends. And it
nice.
really says that self-discipline can be like trained and learned and stuff. So I'm like, okay, great, I have hope. So it has to become a habit.
Mm,
And the point is, nobody can do it for us. We have to really go through it ourselves. Therefore, it's really our responsibility. It's our responsibility to be mindful, grounded, and um, again become the better version of ourselves every single day.
yeah, no, I think that's definitely key, and I completely relate to what you said, and I think like um, it's kind of a habit. Discipline can be quite difficult, but I suppose the more you do it, the easier that becomes. And
Yes,
aiming to be better than you were yesterday, isn't it? It's that kind of like, how can I do this better? And kind of having that kind of approach to things.
yes. I think it was Gary Vee who said things such as, when you replace your should with must, your whole life will change. Like, I should eat more fruits, I must eat more fruits, or I
Mm,
should go to the gym, but should is like, if I feel like, I will go, I should. But if you
mm,
say I must go to the gym, it's totally different tone, and it's totally different like approach that you are talking to yourself. Or the same like, I mustn't buy the Coke, I mustn't buy the chocolates again, and I mustn't, like argue with my father again, So really, when you put a mustn't instead of shouldn't and stuff, the things really change and evolve, I believe. Isn't it like it's a
yeah,
much, much stronger message in must and mustn't than in should and shouldn't?
yeah. I think certain words are more reinforced, aren't they? They're like there's more backing behind it. It's like if I said I probably shouldn't do that, I mustn't do that.
Yeah.
It's like
When you should yourself, it's like negotiable. If
mm,
you must and mustn't yourself, it's non-negotiable. And that's basically where we have to get, I believe, in discipline or in moving on somewhere,
mm.
you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree, and I think like I can definitely relate to that myself, and I think we all can because we've all got our own things that we're working on, and we've all got our own disciplines. And I think one of mine I've noticed is, like I've got lots of books that I need to read. And sometimes I'm like, well, I should probably read that book this evening. Do you know what I mean? And then
You probably
most times,
should. You probably should. Exactly. You're still negotiating with yourself.
yeah, and like 9 times out of 10, I probably won't. But if I say I must read that book, it's more reinforced. So probably
Yeah.
more likely to do that, and it's just getting that into our heads, isn't it? Um, yeah. So with like the discipline, would you say what areas would you say that you're kind of working on with discipline that you've noticed? Would you say?
It's basically for me a big issue since ever is the time management
Right.
and priorities and stuff like that. I suffer FOMO sometimes, so like you really want to do like many things at the same time, and often I'm like halfway and not following through. So I believe that like focusing on one thing. And I actually listened to an interesting video on Motiversity. I don't know if you know that channel, Motiversity on
Yeah.
YouTube.
You mentioned it. Yeah.
Maybe I did, yeah. So they basically said that like successful people or like highly efficient people work not from to-do list, but they work from their calendars. So basically in a calendar, you assign a time slot to each task, rather than having this never-ending to-do list, where we like never know when we are get to it. And I was talking to another friend of mine, and she said the same. She said like you have to sit down and schedule it, and when it's there scheduled for a certain time, and then you switch from should to must, then you get it, you get it done, and you can move on somewhere.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. And I think, like, so with having a calendar rather than just having a book that you just writing endless notes in, because, they're almost like thoughts, aren't they? We have all these thoughts, we write them down, it's just endless. Whereas if you have, like a calendar or set journal dates where you have everything scheduled at a certain time, it's more organized and you're probably more likely to do it. I mean, I have a journal here that is pretty much full of like, to-dos, like you said, like things I need to do. And there's no calendar sometimes. I put the date at the top, but if I don't put the date at the top, I'm kind of lost. And do you know what I mean? If I have a date on it, or I put I need to do this, then I'm more likely to do it. If I don't, then they're just lots of words on a bit of paper. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I
So,
think that's a really good point.
I'm getting some internet issue. I just got a message. My internet connection is unstable, so let's hope.
Yeah, no, it should be fine.
It will work. Let's hope so. Yes.
It's okay. It's okay on my side.
All right. Cool. So basically, yes, I really think that we have to be more strict with ourselves, and like when I compare this with the generation of our parents and with the previous generations, the life was in a way not easier. It was different, I believe like every generation has its challenges, and I believe that our generation and the younger generations has the challenge of social media and really of these endless opportunities that they can be, they can do, they can travel, they can be anything they like, you just go on YouTube, you focus on one area and you can become anything you want. So I really think that it's really important to set priorities and just follow through. Like, now we are in September, like mid-September, it's gonna be October soon.
Yeah.
And then I see on the Instagram, those posts like, listen guys, it's a quarter year left. Try to accomplish something by the end of the year. And that's when really the time issue really pops up. You know, it's like, oh my God, seriously, like 3/4 of a year is gone. You know, 3/4 are gone. So like, where have I like evolved? What actually happened in my life? Like, what have I learned? What new skills have I acquired? What books have I read? What people have I met? You know, stuff like that. So, and then you are like, oh my God, like 3 more months left till the end of the year. Like, what can I do with that space? And that's when really, I really believe like this working from calendar, being mindful of the time and being mindful of the priorities, meaning where we put our time and energy to, it's really crucial for the discipline and accomplishing things.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think that's a really valid point. And I think I was reminded because one of my friends put something on Instagram, and she said like there's only X amount of months left of the year, and it kind of clicked, and I was like, gosh, yeah. And then I'm like, need to. It kind of makes you thinking, doesn't it? When you see it like
Yes.
that, when you think of it like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we can forget about time. Do you know what I mean?
We just
Almost.
float through the days, we just float through the hours, days, through the weeks, we float through the months, we float through the years, so we really have to kind of like stop floating. And like, I believe it was D-Rock who posted once something like, it's time to get serious about your life, about your priorities, about your work, about your skill set, about basically get serious because time is really ticking. And nobody is gonna do it for us. We really have to check on ourselves. It's our responsibility.
Yeah. No, completely. And it's, I think sometimes as well, people might have things done for them, or, they, with time, I think time isn't really something that's kind of taught in schools, is it? Like nobody kind of prepares you to be, really good with time management and to schedule your time. It's like, you just try and figure it out yourselves. I remember when I was like 18 years old, 17, 19, for jobs, a lot of the time I was late. I had no concept of time management. I probably didn't really care back then too much about time, but I think as you grow up, I think you kind of become more aware of it, don't you? Especially if you have a job and things like that, you have to be in a set time, be in a set place with set time, etc. But on the wider scale of things, I think we need to think about time and what we're doing all the time. Whether that's a journey somewhere, how long is that going to take? What are you doing in your day?
Yes.
I think we have to be strict, but we need to allow us to have that bit of time to relax and, do you know what I mean? Do those things, whether that's watching TV or something, a series. But it's that balance, isn't it? It's that balance. And me personally, if I spend too much time doing that kind of stuff, watching TV or a series, me personally, I feel like I lose momentum. And it's kind of like harder to get back in motion. Do you know what I mean? So
I understand. Yes.
I do that stuff, but I'm very balanced of how much I do that now. I try to be balanced.
Good. I cannot relate because I don't watch TV for the past 10 years, but I get you. Yes. Like we all have like activities where we get like caught in and which really throws us off the track. So that's again when we have to stop, check on ourselves and get back on track. And it's again the power of now. Basically, the power of now. Now is the moment when we have the power to do anything, when we can actually change the course of the timeline that we are on. Take the deep breath, get really back in our head, and start doing something mindfully again. It's about mindfulness.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, like you said, when you're in the present moment and you're in, like, especially with time, when you're enjoying something, you're in the flow, that time can kind of go very quick. Does that make sense? And then if you're not enjoying
Of course.
something, that time, it's like time is almost physical. It almost drags. If you're not
Yes.
enjoying doing something, it
Yes.
feels like you're doing it forever.
Yes, that's correct. So yeah,
No, it's
we have to
interesting.
be, yeah,
Sorry.
we have to be mindful of the time and what we are actually doing, how we are spending our time. Like, you know, like even this never ending scrolling on the phone,
Mm.
there are those TikToks and Instagrams and everything, you know. I still have hard time doing that, but like I really am trying to catch myself and stop and really think about what I'm actually doing, where am I going, you know, and stuff like that. So it's extremely important because then
Mm.
really the minute flies by, you know, minutes fly and hours
Mm.
fly by, everything. So
Yeah. No, we're all. I think we all experience that. You know, every single person, most people have a cell phone that has Instagram. Will do that, and
of course.
these platforms are good, but they're also addictive. And it's like, well, what are you looking at? The platforms aren't bad, but it depends what you're looking at and how much you're looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
How long for.
Yeah.
So we've all got to, like I said, we've all got to be kind of mindful. I think, like you
Yes.
said, of how long we
Yeah.
are on these things. Um,
You know, the social media is not a bad thing at all, like the social platforms and stuff, not at all. It depends on us how we use it.
mm,
So it's only
mm,
about the way how we approach it, how we use it. And again, like Gary Vee says,
yeah.
it basically exposes us. It's not that people are bad or whatever. It just
Mm,
really gives us the exposure. So it really exposes who we really are, kinda, you know. It really
yeah.
shows what people spend time on. So it's our human factor, you know. It's not a fault of the
Mm,
social media thing. So
mm,
again, only the disciplined people can use it fruitfully and to help others, to motivate others, you know, stuff like that. You know, even like the
mm,
things that we are talking here about,
mm,
everybody knows this. These are really like basic truths.
yeah.
But again, we are kind of like the mirror to say, hey, like stop, think, get back in your mind, become mindful and think about this, because like everybody knows this innately, okay, what's going on, but we are
Mm,
just again like so much like lost in the flow of everything. There is work, there is family, there is bills, there is, you know, job forever, like job, you know. And so yeah, we really have to stop and focus on what we're actually doing.
mm,
And again, like 3 months left till the end of the year, like wow, like seriously,
yeah.
wow, you know.
Yeah. It is pretty scary when you say it like that, because I remember during like lockdown back in early March, mid March in the UK, it was mid March lockdown,
Mm-hmm. It
and
was the same
that's
here.
yeah, and that feels like a week ago.
Yes, all that, you know, half a year passed, you get it. It's really
Mm,
scary. Half a year passed, so again, you know. And it was very stressful period for many people. Of course, it was extremely stressful because humanity has never been exposed to anything like this before.
mm,
But again, you can find a way how to work with it, how
mm,
to make it work for you. You have to use that time for checking in with yourself.
yeah,
So I believe, you know, this COVID lockdown was useful for
yeah,
many people.
yeah. I think it like definitely, like you said, allow people to check in with themselves on a really deep level. and a lot of people, you know, changed jobs, you know, created new things. People discovered new hobbies. You know, there's lots of things where, you know, people had the opportunity to grow. You know,
Yes.
um, so it's almost like a silver lining to it. You know.
Yeah. It's also funny, like, you know, families were forced to be together, like the kids, there was no school, parents, there was no job, you know, so they're like, they said it's like explosion of divorces and stuff, because really people also realized, you know, where they stand in a relationship and private life. So it's all sort of like mirror to the situation again, you know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. No, I agree from personal experience as well. You know,
Mm.
yeah, that phase of time really did highlight a lot, and
Yes.
it's crazy how time can do that. I think, you know, the periods of time where there's so much focus, I think, like, in society, it's almost like a cultural hypnosis. What you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
like, people are awake but they're almost asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? In this
Yeah,
hypnosis, they're just going to
of course.
work and doing,
Yeah. They're
you know,
autopilot, you know,
yes,
like really totally mindless, just really daily rut and nothing really like mindful in it.
yeah, no, exactly. And I think that kind of period enabled people to kind of jump off that wagon a little bit, and to really think,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
because when there's so many things going on around us, we have less time to think,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, especially about ourselves, because we're
Of
so focused
course.
on everything happening. So
Yes. The
it's
COVID lockdown
mm,
really pushed us to the next level, and it was very
mm,
transformative for many people, I believe.
mm, because, like, you know, where you're situated, you know, it's a very busy place. So I suppose when you had lockdown, you know, it's a big difference.
Yes, certainly. Yeah. So yeah, I can
But
see like really many changes. People shifted a lot their opinions, and you know, again, it depends on the personality. Like some people did, some people didn't. So you know, I'm
mm,
trying to surround myself with people who are like motivated and you know, pushing
mm,
themselves
yeah,
in a
nice.
right direction. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's what we have to do for ourselves. You know, really to surround ourselves with people with good vibes.
mm,
Like Gary Vee says, also, I'm quoting him so much today, but he's good, you know.
yeah, it is good.
Like when you come from like a negative family, just put your headphones on, put positivity in your ears, you know,
Mm,
and just,
mm,
you really, now we have the tools to do it for ourselves, you know, to really
yeah,
do it by ourselves, you know. So yeah.
no, I
And
agree.
also we as a society, we became kind of soft. You know, like it's like you're in the gym and you do like, I don't know, 10 reps and like, oh, it starts to hurt, let's quit, you know?
Mm,
But actually let's push through it.
mm,
You know, let's not be so soft.
mm,
I'm not saying like let's like go too much, too hard, but as well like let's not be too soft. And I feel like the society became kind of soft. And also this COVID became kind of excuse to be softer, you know. Everybody says, oh, stress and this and that. I'm like, you
mm.
know, like if somebody's family is fine, if the person is fine, like what kind of stress are you really talking about? Is it just an excuse or is it something objective? So, you know.
Yeah, no, I think, like you said, people need to become a little bit uncomfortable. And there's that quote that I've quoted many times, and a few people who I've met who've said it before, is you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And
That's where the growth happens. Yeah.
yeah, it's like if you're lifting a weight and it's not uncomfortable, then you're not going to probably grow too much, and
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of part of the process, isn't it? And I think it's trying to accept the process and knowing that through that discomfort there is going to be, you know, positive benefits from that.
Yes, long term, absolutely. That's again the discipline, you know. Discipline is something to push ourselves to do something which is not comfortable at the moment, but which has like long-term benefits, and at the same time we are really reprogramming, rewiring our brain.
Yeah, I think it's actually been scientifically proven. I don't know the ins and outs, but it has been scientifically proven through exercise. I think certain parts of the brain, they do actually change through exercise. And
Absolutely.
you develop new, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but yeah, something,
The new
neural
neurostructure.
pathways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, it really changes, you know. So absolutely, it's been proven many times. So yes.
Yeah, no, discipline is key, and I think, like you said, there are so many areas where discipline ties into, you know, health, fitness, diet, sleep, um, things that we engage in. It's on so many avenues,
Yes,
and I think
absolutely.
being a human being is quite a complex, you know, we're quite complex beings, and we have to kind of manage all of this, and like I said, be self-disciplined in order to be effective.
Mm-hmm.
And we've all got our own. We're all different. We've all got our own areas that we need to be disciplined in. You know, but I think, like, when you look at, you know, athletes or successful people, and you see their levels of, you know, self-discipline. For example, you know, Kobe Bryant, the basketball player, when he was alive, you know, he would get up. He figured out in his head that if he wanted to be better than the next guy, he had to go training, you know, at an earlier time. He had to be that however many steps ahead of the next person.
Right. Yes,
So,
that's basically it. That's basically it. Yeah. And we live in such a highly competitive world right now. So again, it is like very important not to get overwhelmed and not to compare to like everybody else and stuff and put stress on us. But like within our environment, we should really find some kind of balance where we can push ourselves on, you know, and practice self-discipline, improve ourselves, but at the same time not to be overwhelmed, you know, and not to be soft at the same time, something really in the middle. I believe like we always can do more than we think, which is like true. But at the same time, we still have to keep our sanity as well. So it's all about really this maturity and wisdom, basically. Yeah, we have to manage it wisely, our time, ourselves, our goals, what we put energy and time in. That's the priority.
yeah, no, I really like how you worded that, and I agree. And I think people, like I said, in society, are trying to, you know, a lot of people sometimes compare themselves and look at what other people are doing, what other people have got, how people look, and so on and so forth. And, you know, we're so caught up in the opinions of other people sometimes. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah, I
people
know.
and it's a skill, and it just takes practice, and we all have our own insecurities. You know, we're human beings, but yeah, and it's just like doing you, isn't it? It's just kind of trying to let go of that and just kind of focusing on yourself and what makes you happy, not worrying about what people think of you, and trying to be yourself, isn't it? And trying to figure out
That's
what that is.
absolutely. Yes, yes. So it takes a lot of like self reflection and self
Yes.
insight. And I really think that the COVID, the lockdown, gave us really huge opportunity to reset, you know. But again, only for the people who are willing to do it, because it's not
Yeah.
pleasant, it's not easy, and
Yeah.
it really requires your like 100% responsibility.
Yeah.
And we like to give responsibility over our lives to others, you know, like the politicians are this, so that's why I cannot do this, the economy is this, that's why I cannot do this, and oh, I cannot travel. If I could travel, oh my god, my life would be totally different, but you know, I cannot, you know, the gyms are closed, I wanted to work out, you know, all this year, but you know, now I cannot. So you know, all these convenient excuses. And I hate excuses so much. I hate excuses like
Yeah.
a lot. So yeah, like when somebody starts with excuses, I'm like, I really don't have time. I don't have energy to listen to it. So it's
Yeah.
again.
No, I agree with you, and I think like people, they almost have like a blueprint, you know, as to why things are how they are, and excuses to, you know, why they are who they are for whatever reason. Um, or I was talking about it the other day, like people might say, oh, I haven't got time, I'm too tired, or, you know, like I said, these excuses. And I mean, I think we can all sometimes do it, sometimes, you know, at some point, but it's like I said, being aware of that. But I think the more aware of it you are, the kind of like, the more honest you are with yourself and the less excuses you make,
Yes,
and you just do it. And
precisely.
there's a good quote, isn't it? Well, like Nike, you know, the sports brand is just do it. And people have said to me, you know, um, who quoted it? Someone quoted it. It's like all you got to do is like, you know, show up, basically. You know, just
Yes,
show,
yes,
just show up. You know, like,
absolutely. Yeah. Which also kind of ties together with courage. Like once you have a courage to do something, you know, like really to disregard what other people think, what other people do, what other people think, everything, you know. If you just show up, if you have the courage to go through, if you have the courage to follow through, it's basically 75% of the success.
yeah,
Like majority of the people are just thinking there, thinking, wishing, you know. And I'm like, I called out a friend of mine on this the other day. I was like, I'm sorry, but like your actions don't look like you're gonna get there. I'm sorry, you know, like really, the actions don't match your words. Your actions don't match your goal, what you are dreaming about, what you are talking about, you know. I want to have a house, I want to have a car, I want to have a family, I want to be a millionaire by then, and whatever, you know. But I'm like, okay, so like, look at yourself now. It's simply, there is a huge discrepancy between what you are saying that you are wishing for and what you're actually doing. So, yeah.
yeah, no, that's it, isn't it? And I think sometimes people, like I said, they're all interlinked as well. Like the words you say, the actions you make, you know, they're all interlinked. And it's like if you're saying, I want to be, for example, an artist. It's like, you know, a painter. Okay, it's like, okay, are you practicing painting? Are
Of
you doing
course.
a course in painting? You know,
Right.
it's like we can all say these things. I want to work out, and you know, whatever it is. And it's like you
Yes,
said, your kind of words have to match your actions. Otherwise, if you're
exactly.
just saying, you know, I'm going to do this,
Yeah.
and it's like there's a difference between thinking about something and doing it. And I'm guilty
Yeah.
of it. And sometimes I have things where I can think of lots of different things at once,
Yes,
and
I know.
then it's like if I don't do that thing, and this is the scary thing as well. is that if I don't do that thing that I need to do, it can sometimes domino into the next day, into the next day. Do you know what I mean? In that like
I
momentum.
do. I do.
And
I
then,
do.
but if you turn that around and you do that thing, then you're then going to do that thing the next day and the next day. So it can go one way or another. We just need to get into that habit of just doing it,
Yes,
because
yes.
then it becomes second nature.
Yes, absolutely. At the same time, like, don't kill yourself over it, you know.
Mm.
Like, I'm really bad, like, I'm like, I want to go to the gym, but I'm like, I should also do like a million other things, of course, you know. And if I go to the gym, I don't have time to stay like 2 hours. As I would like to, preferably. So like, is it even point going for just a half an hour, you know? And then you start really waiting for this perfect moment, you know,
Mm.
when you have 2 hours to go to the gym. So then basically you say, you know what, I better not go at all, you know, if I don't have that perfect time and whatever, you know. So basically, it's really better to say, like, let's stop now, let's go, let's see what happens.
Mm.
And again, like 20 minutes is better than 0 minutes at a gym, you know? Like
Yeah.
something is better than nothing. And usually what happens is like, even if I don't feel like going to the gym, and you say, or I say to myself, like, you know what, I'll just try for like 10 minutes. If it doesn't work, I go back home. That's fine. That's fine. But
Mm.
usually when you get there, you really stay half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, and then that's the
Mm.
game changer. So just really doing it, and then at least
Mm.
trying, you know.
Yeah. No, it's all about that mindset, isn't it? And
Mm-hmm.
everyone works differently. And I think, like you said, some people kind of, I think when you're there, when you're at the gym and you arrive there, you kind of like, you know, you get in that zone almost. But I think a good thing as well, somebody said to me, pack your, say you're at work or something, or you're somewhere else. Someone said, pack your bags, your gym bag already, and put it in your car. So it's already there, done. So,
Right, right.
say you finish work, you go to your car, your bag is there. So it's kind of on
You
your mind.
you eliminate another excuse, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
suppose
I have
so,
to
yeah.
go home, pick up this, exactly, you know, I have to go home, pick up the stuff and whatever. You cannot have that. So yeah, you have it already in the car waiting for you. So yeah, it's beautiful. Love it.
And yeah, no, and I think, yeah, we like with the gym, you know, it can be difficult. But sometimes, like, you know, especially winter time, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
get a little bit colder.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And darker.
and
Yes.
yeah, and
Yeah.
darker. So, if you have the travel to the gym, then you might be like, oh, it's too cold. I want to stay
Mm-hmm.
inside where it's warm. So, there's all these kind of like other factors that we have to like deal with before we even leave
Mm-hmm.
the house to go and do
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that. You know, I think for me was like getting up early to go to the gym. I struggle getting up early if I was going to work, you know, going to work out.
Yeah.
Um, it's like almost like a disorientation. It's like your routine is out the window. But
Mm-hmm.
everyone, I think, like works differently, don't they? But I think, like you said, um, it's so key to getting that mindset of just doing it.
Yeah. 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 It's like I should read all these books, and I have like 20 books here, you know, and it's
Mm,
overwhelming.
mm.
Okay. And they're all great books. And like, where do you start? How do you start? So you better leave it. You're like, you know what? I don't even start because it's like so much. I mean, it's too much. I better not start. You know, that's like the first thing.
Yeah,
And
that
then once you pick one book, you start reading, you get into it, and then, you know, you get it. So
mm.
like,
It's like what you.
really, me, I'm always waiting for this perfect moment, you
Mm.
know, but the perfect moment never happens, you know, like when I will have more of this, I will something else, you know, but it doesn't basically work that way. You have to execute.
Yeah, no, completely. And it's just changing that narrative, isn't it? That flipping it
Yes,
around because
yes.
I think, like you said, then, like as people, we can sometimes talk ourselves out of doing something before we've even kind of like tried it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You kind of say, oh, I'm going to go do that, or I'm going to go apply for this job. But then sometimes we're kind of like conflicted by this little voice inside that might be like, do something else, or it won't work out. And it's trying to block that out, isn't it? And just, like you said, just prioritize. And yeah, I mean, I think with books, I'm the same, because I've got lots of books as well. And I must rewording my words now. I must read the books,
Yes. So I guess that's it. Yeah. It's about really catching ourselves like midway of doing things. We have to catch our thoughts, check in on ourselves, and be mindful and really start, putting direction into our thoughts and into our actions. Redirect it mindfully.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think we need to do that, every day, or try and do it every day. Repetition.
Yes.
Because that's kind of like how we get better at things, isn't it? Through doing it more.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I believe so. Yes.
Have you got any other notes or anything else that you'd like to touch on? Because I remember saying you have some notes.
Yeah, I just really, for me, the big game changer, and I actually have it also on the wall, like on the post-it. I really have this really change your should into must, and then shouldn't into mustn't. It's very strong.
Yeah.
So like when you focus on these little things, little by little, step by step, such as really should into must and shouldn't into mustn't, I think it's really enough to work on, to be honest, so really, it's really step by step. It's a process.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think it's really good, what we've spoken about, because it's really kind of put things into perspective. And I think for people watching and people listening, it'll make them think about the words that they use in their life towards, what they, with what they do.
Yes.
Because we're all people. We all think a certain way. We all use these words. Well, I must do this. I should do this. And the thing is, we're almost, not aware of the words that we use and the things that we think and say. But
that's right.
What we're talking about really kind of brings that into alignment and to focus that you need to be aware of. If you're aware of the words that you use, then you're probably going to be more aware of, if you're taking action or not.
Exactly. Yeah. Now that you mentioned the words, I just saw a beautiful note today somewhere saying that basically words are magic. It's really magic. And the self-talk is really the most magical language we can ever talk or speak. And actually spelling, there is the spell part, in spelling, when you like spell the words, there's the spell part, and it's really like pure magic. So I'm like, this is really true. We have to be really so much like mindful the way we talk, and first of all the way we talk to ourselves, because really the self-talk, the random thoughts we have in our brain, that we are like judging ourselves and being whatever to ourselves, those are all spells. We're really all spelling out words. So
yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And I think like our self-talk, which you're talking about, how we talk to ourselves, internally, and how we think about ourselves is something that's then projected, externally, and how we are and how we live our lives. And I know, like, if there's been times in my life where I've doubted myself, or I felt or thought negatively, it has a detrimental effect on how I feel and how I act and how I sound and, your body language. So it's so important to, you know, be aware of that, to change that if that's happening, you know, and to create new narratives where you think positively of yourself and think the highest of yourself, because
Yes.
we are our own kind of driving force. There's no one else behind us but us, really, you know. But I watched a video, and this guy was saying that in the first 7 years of your life, that programs your subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And we're living 5% conscious, you know.
Right.
And we can rewire that through like hypnosis and repetition. But basically what you're saying with the words, you know, and our environment, which comes into this as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's why, you know, we have to be aware of our environment as well, and things that people say to us who are around us.
Yes.
You know, because we all, you know, we all grow up, but I think that's why it's important if you know you have kids, you know, I'm going to kid you, touch wood.
Touch
But
Funny part.
yeah, that you know, that they're in the right environment where, you know, they're not being having negative things said to them, because then that kind of can become in people's belief systems, can't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I hope that we will be like next generation of parents, more mindful,
Yeah.
more aware of these things. Yeah. Like the children is like really big issue for me. So yeah, we can talk about it some other time.
Yeah, no, of course, but no, I, you know, I think what we've spoken about is some really good topics, and I think it's definitely something that people should be aware of, and I hope that, you know, people take something from it, you know.
Yes. You know, I feel really this is like these talks are more for me because I also need to like organize my thoughts and actually put it on the paper and put it on the video really also helps me to sort it out in my own head. So it's like, you know, we kind of all have responsibility toward the other people, you know, so like whatever
Yeah.
we say here, people will hear it.
Oh yeah.
So it's like a responsibility to, this really feels like a self-talk to me, to be honest. And at the same time, we're really sharing it. So it's like about this, you know, it's very important to talk to yourself mindfully and with focus and
Yeah.
trying to keep it on track and in direction, in some sort of direction.
Yeah.
Not
No, I
just the
agree.
mindless floating, you know, through the years. We're really 3 months left to the end of the year. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm gonna
You
write
know?
that down. I'm gonna write it down.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, okay, what is my Spanish skill? What is my this and that, you know? I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, you know, how many books have I read that I said by now I will have read, you know? You know, so.
Definitely getting me thinking now.
You see that? You see that? I know. So, yeah,
No,
good
it's,
reminder to myself.
yeah, and I think like as well, like, you know, we're both on the same page. We're both, um, you know, I feel like we're on the same wavelength, and we're both kind of just, you know, being natural, being open and honest. And I think that's, you know, something that we need to do, isn't it? You know, with ourselves, you know, and with other people. And if you can engage in that same kind of vibe, it's pretty powerful and important, I feel. And I think what you said about people who listen to this and who watch this, you know, people take things what they want. People take the things they want to take from, you know, content,
Of
and,
course.
you know, what we're saying and the things we're talking about, people will consume that. So it's like, you know, we kind of have, like you said, kind of a responsibility in that way,
Yes.
which is,
Yes.
you know, pretty powerful when you think about it,
It
because
is. It is. Because we kind of, when we are basically, you know what, negative self-talk is kind of irresponsible. And it's very selfish because we are influencing other people regardless. And being negative and irresponsible is very selfish. So, yeah, I really feel like being positive, pushing onward, pushing to be better each day, trying to be disciplined and stuff like that is first of all ultimate responsibility toward ourselves. But second of all, it's a responsibility toward the world and people around us.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think when people see somebody who's being that way and doing those things, people can only like want to follow suit to be like that as well. Do you know what I mean? Rather than is that kind of like saying, you know, your vibe attracts your tribe, and I think we spoke. I think we said that earlier, didn't we? On the first time
I think
we brought that up,
yes.
we said, yeah,
Yes.
and
I stole that from you. I love that.
Yeah, I don't know who I stole it from. I think I created it. But yeah, it's definitely true. And I think if someone's being confident, people will just want to. It's a bit like a role model that you look up to. You know, someone who's at that kind of peak. People just want to be like the next Michael Jordan or the next, you know, LeBron James. That kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But
or just like Adam Parr, you know, because
yeah,
also you
just,
are inspiring people. So yeah, like each of us. Yeah. So
yeah, no, same with you. And it's like it's kind of set an example, isn't it? You know, and
yes.
Sometimes we just need that light, you know.
Yes, and you really feel like, or I feel like, I mustn't let the people down. Do you get that? Like,
yeah, I mean, with when I've been doing podcasts, I just kind of like flow with it and do it. But when you put it like that, it makes you see it from a different perspective. Where I'm like, yeah, okay, you know, I kind of do have a responsibility in some way. We have a responsibility.
yes.
So part of you just kind of think, yeah, I don't want to let people down. So to some extent, like, I don't really think that when I'm doing them, but you know, ultimately, I don't want to let people down, and I think we kind of all of us don't really want to let anyone down, do we? As well, we kind of want to put out something that's good.
Right. And really now with this exposure on social media, it's like more palpable, you know, like really, I just feel it really differently. Like you have this really public service, like really your life is kind of public service. And that's how it should be approached, you know. So also like self-discipline is really for me, but also for everybody who knows me, who follows me, who I talk to, you know. So yeah, it's been like a really conscious thought.
Yeah, no, completely. And I think like we should like, is it that quote? I think Gary Vee said it, like, you know, give more than you take.
Yeah, I guess.
You know,
Yes.
like, you know,
Makes sense.
through podcasting, yeah, I mean, we're putting out content now. I'm not expecting anything in return. You know, I'm doing it to provide value to other people. You know, certain.
Yes. So
But
again, it's important to really put out good messages, which can be helpful first of all to us as we perceive them, and second of all, somebody else can find it useful as well. So that's like a benefit. That's the added value. If somebody else can find any use in this, it's like great. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't know what is happening in someone else's day or life. You know, they might
Absolutely.
listen to this or watch this,
Mm-hmm.
and it could completely change the way they think. You know,
Yes.
it's powerful. So yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes really people need to hear something. They need to see something. So that happens all the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
no,
that's
so
beautiful that we are like
yeah,
co-creators of each other's lives, and
yeah,
leading
yeah,
each other on, and like
yeah, yeah,
if somebody needs somebody to talk to, or if somebody feels down, they understand that they are not alone. That's very important.
mm,
So yeah, social media is actually a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It really only exposes how humans use it. So people use it well and people use it not well, but it's again the personal choice, and it exposes the person. So that's it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love
No,
social
so
media. Yeah.
yeah.
So
No, and the thing is, through social media as well, like, you know, it's how we connected, and
of
it's, you know,
course.
how we're doing this. So there are, you know, lots of positive benefits, and there's also the other side. But you know, it's like yin and yang, isn't it?
Yeah, again, it depends. We are the parameter how we use it. So, depends on us.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's like a knife. You can use a knife to cut an apple, or you can use a knife to kill somebody. So again, the knife is a tool.
Yeah,
It's up to us the way we decide to use the knife, for the good or for
yeah,
the evil. So
yeah,
that's the same.
yeah. Hopefully, people are choosing to cut apples instead of doing the other things with it. But
Let's hope so.
yeah,
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 exactly. Yeah. So that's what it is.
yeah. But no, it's been a pleasure, you know, having you back on the podcast, and
Thank you. It
it's
was
been really
fun.
great. Yeah, it's been really great talking to you again, and you know, I look forward to
Thank
next
you
time.
again.
And so, where people can find you on social media and Instagram, where can they find you? What's your tag?
NYC Rusalka. It's NYC for New York City because that's where I live. And Rusalka spelled as Rusalka. So that's me. NYC
No,
Rusalka
yeah,
together. And then you
nice.
follow me, so like through you, people can find me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Stuff.
That's awesome.
So yes, awesome. It's
Sweet.
getting really late in your
What time is
place.
it now? What time is it? Yeah, it's getting kind of late, but I'm still awake, so
Yeah.
it's all good.
Okay. Cool. So yeah,
But
thank you so much again. Thank you.
no, you're welcome. But take care and look forward to next time.
You as well. Thank you. Have
You're
a good night.
welcome. You too. Take care.
Bye then. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.